Ngayon, ano ang batayan ng iba na mayroong tao raw na nakarating na sa langit? Gaya ni Elias, gaya ni Enoch. Si Enoch po kasi, inilipat ang sabi sa Biblia. Inilipat siya, 11:5. Nakalagay po sa Biblia, inilipat si Enoch. Wala naman nakalagay inilipat sa paraiso. Wala naman nakaganon. Wala naman nakalagay inilipat sa paraiso. Maaaring inilipat siya ng lugar dito sa mundo, pero bandang huli, namatay din po si Enoch. Kapatid na Mario, pakisundan mo po itong binabasa. Tingnan nyo po sa screen. Sa 11:5 ng Hebreo, sa pananampalataya, si Enoch ay inilipat. Ayon sa pananampalataya, nangamatay ang lahat ng mga ito na hindi kinamtan ang pangako. Nakita mo po, kapatid? Si Pablo rin ang may sabi, namatay pala lahat sila . Si Enoch, si Noe, si Abraham, si Sarah, si Jacob. Ngunit kanilang natanaw mula sa malayo at kanilang ipinahayag na sila'y pawang taga-ibang bayan at manglalakbay sa ibabaw ng lupa. So itong mga taong itong matutuwid, wala pa sa langit hanggang ngayon. Natanaw lang nila mula sa malayo. Nagkaroon sila ng ideya ng dumarating na pangako. Pero wala pa sila ron.
I'm exhorting Daniel's song to lead back his people to the existing church. SORIANO teachings are almost all erroneous. In one question or in one topic he commits multiple erroneous teachings. First of all, Elijah is not a created man. He is what God did formed for himself to go down to earth, as he has no genealogy. And he didn't die, as he was taken to heaven. Then he comes back in the name of John the Baptist, by way of HR, and by way of Elizabeth's womb, which means that flesh of John is from human, but the spirit is the reincarnation of Elijah. Matthew 11 verse 14. That is why when John the Baptist died, he reappeared together with Moses in the appearance of Elijah. Matthew 17 verse 3. In Hebrew 11 verse 5, as this is also about Genesis 5 verse 24, the word Enoch was taken away by God. It's then so understood as was taken away from earth, as was alive, for as was written, Enoch did not experience death, for if Enoch is in earth and God is in heaven, and the writer did not wrote where God placed Enoch, that just means God taken away Enoch from earth. So if Enoch was taken away from earth, it is so impossible that he was brought to hell or to the Hades, as was written, Enoch did not rest in peace or not dead in sleep, and Enoch is blameless. As there are two main creations of God, as it is heaven and earth, as the abyss or hell as it is of Hades, is somewhere between the heaven and earth, cited in the book of Luke. So it is unintellectual for SORIANO to reason out, was not said Enoch was transferred to paradise, but might transferred to other place in this earth. Then Eli said, eventually Enoch died, as he reads the Hebrew 11 verse 13. It's so obvious that SORIANO can't understand a Hebrew 11 verse 5 and Hebrew 11 verse 13. For as was clearly stated in Hebrews 11 verse 5 that Enoch did not experience death. So meaning the words all these, the word die so understood as it means their spirits departed from their flesh, bodies, as the word die has four biblical meanings. Number 1, departing of spirit from flesh without resting in peace, as automatically being brought to heaven, as this is indeed what God means. If Adam will not eat that fruit he will not die, as the spirit just leaves the earth as being brought to heaven. Number 2, to die as the spirit departs from flesh, then the spirit rest in peace or dead in sleep in Hades. Number 3, to die in sin, as all who disbelieved and the unbelievers were being called by Jesus as dead, for he says let the dead bury the dead. Number 4, to die from sin, as if accepting the words of God and Jesus. And there are two kinds of spirit departing from flesh, body. Number 1, as like those who did not experience death, as spirit was directly brought to heaven. Number 2, those whose spirits departs from their body then rest in peace or dead in sleep in Hades. So that Hebrews 11 verse 13, this doesn't mean they experience same departure from flesh, bodies. And there are four kinds of bringing the spirit to heaven. Number 1, automatically being brought to heaven without experiencing death. Number 2, right after the death was being brought to heaven, like the one who was crucified with Jesus, like Lazarus, and the one mentioned by Paul. Number 3, as if God will resurrect the dead at any time he wants, like Moses. Number 4, as about what being stated in Revelation 20. Verse 4-5, and about 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 16-17 and Hebrew 11 verse 13. The words all these people were still living by faith when they died. This means, when they left the earth and in such times were brought to heaven, so as they are still living by faith, it cannot be said still living by faith when they died, which indeed means departed from flesh, body, and or when they departed the earth if they were not brought to heaven yet. The phrase that the word died here means as was when taken from earth. It's because Paul includes Enoch who left the earth without experiencing death to them who left the earth also. So the word still living by faith connotes as their faith continues as though they no longer in earth. What Paul means of his words did not receive the things promised, it is about the organized promised land, as though Abraham received the promised land, and had with him Isaac and Ishmael, and Jacob also had able to leave there. Even Moses from Egypt, he did not receive the promised land, he only learned it and sees it. So, it's so understood that what Paul means that they did not receive the things promised is about the developed Canaan, as was named Israel, as was divided to 12 tribes. So meaning if Eli believes Enoch and Noah just said, so as just means as was permitted by God, and that just means they are no longer in Hades. And as Abraham in heaven also talks to the man in hell a distance from heaven, and as about Lazarus who was with Abraham, the one who was crucified with Jesus, the one that was mentioned by Paul, and Moses talked with Jesus and Peter, these are not just the peoples that proves that they were already who have been brought to heaven. Did you not understand in the book of Revelation, there are 24 elders mentioned while Jesus was being praised in heaven after ascension, as he was seated in the throne, being the right hands of the Father. So Eli Soriano is wrong as he says there are none yet that were brought to heaven.
Ang tao pag namatay na, hindi na makakabalik sa bahay. Kaya yung kaluluwa raw bumabalik sa bahay, hindi totoo yun, kapatid. Yung laman, nakalibing. Yung kaluluwa hawak ng Diyos. Paano babalik yun? Hindi naman papabalikin ng Diyos yun. At pag ang tao ay matuwid, yung kanyang kaluluwa ay nandoon sa may altar, sa ilalim ng altar sa langit.